and welcome into the PHNX Cardinals halftime show. I'm Johnny Venerable, Bo Brock, Damian Anderson, Frank Sanders. Yes, the Cardinals are down. It's been frustrating, but the Denver Broncos have just tied it up with the LA Chargers. They are knotted up at 17, entering the half. Hopefully, Brandon Staley gets it through his mind, starts sitting players. Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, hello. Let's go. Matthew in the chat, Bo Brock. Broncos country, let's ride.
That's right. Russ is cooking. Big bomb that Jerry Jeudy at the half. What are we, DMVR Broncos? No, let's break down J.J. Watt's final game.
No.
Arizona Cardinals trailing to the San Francisco 49ers, continuing to show fight. You appreciate that, and potentially, Kliff Kingsbury's final performance as the Arizona Cardinals head coach. A lot on the line for the Cards, but also a lot has already been set in stone with this team, DA.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many different things offensively. I
Right.
mean, as you mentioned, Bo, the fight from the players, obviously J.J. Watt getting his 11th and a half sack this season, also sacking his 50th quarterback of the year, that being Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy in the half with a great throw to, Kittle. So, I mean, that kind of, you're happy for the hometown kid, but at the same time, I think Johnny is expressing his enthusiasm over the Broncos doing what the Broncos do. But no, the guys are fighting. I just like, Frank, what you and I were talking about watching the game, Kliff's ability to mix things up. We haven't seen that when other quarterbacks in there, but we saw wham plays. We saw the double pass. Obviously, the first touchdown to A.J. Green. The offense looks like it's mixing around. Like, where was this?
Look, I don't know who this guy that's calling these plays right now because
You've been adamant. It's not Kliff.
This is not Kliff. We're 100%. Like we've been asking for things that transpire that show up on the football field about this team, and honestly, we have not seen that. But this last couple of weeks, he's done something different. I don't know if it's what what David Blau brings to the table.
Yeah.
That he got excited about that he didn't have with Kylo. He couldn't do it with our other quarterback. But in reality, he's done something totally different. I am impressed with that. It's definitely surprising, and he's doing it without the starting guys. Mm-hmm. And so this offense could have maybe been the offense he wanted to transition to. Never got it going because of some injuries and things like that. Not having a bunch of things that have happened, but I'm absolutely surprised the way the guys are playing. They're showing a lot of will, a lot of effort, a lot of fight, and I'm absolutely I'm happy about that.
Before we get to Kliff Kingsbury's fate, what we're hearing out there, Johnny. I mean, it's a mix of everything you want to see as a Cardinals fan, because obviously, as far as rooting for wins at this stage, when you look at the draft order and what the Arizona Cardinals can gain and what they could lose potentially with a W, you're seeing a lot of great things. Just like last week, what you saw on Christmas, you saw this team fight. You saw J.J. Watt continue to play at a high level. You saw David Blau, an underdog. It's easy to root for. We talked to A.J. Green this week in the locker room. He doesn't know if he's retiring. He's gonna look at it after the season. I think a lot of people, people in the chat will make a decision for him or what they think he should do. But to see him in his final game potentially make a big play, just like J.J. Watt is on the defensive side of the football, you have to love that. You have to love that as just a fan of the game of football, to see a guy who in the same draft as J.J., 2011, that unbelievable draft, 70 career touchdowns, one of the best receivers of his generation, make a big play in potentially his final game. That's fun.
Yeah, here's what else is fun. Top draft picks. I got Jason in the chat. Here's what Jason's got to say, and I like this comment a lot. My worst nightmare. Bidwell gets to the podium, or on the radio says, our team fought to the end, didn't quit on their coach. I think we have the momentum to keep Kliff around into 2023. Here's why he's not going to say that, Jason, because it's halftime. It's time for adjustments. Bo, what was the statistic? Cardinals either leading or entering half tied. They've lost all their games. This would be their 7th consecutive loss. I'm sorry. It's football for 4 quarters. It's about wins. It's not about, effort. At the end of the day, you're a 4-win team. So, again, you can feel good about the fact that you're sunsetting JJ and AJ Green off into the sunset. Everybody tried, and that's great. You didn't embarrass yourself against San Francisco, and they're not embarrassing themselves. Kudos to them. But there's no way you can run it back. We've heard from multiple reports now, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissaro, that Steve Keim is likely out tomorrow. Confirmation from John Gambadaro, among others, that Kliff Kingsbury is likely out tomorrow. So hopefully this is everybody saying, Kliff, we appreciate what you've done for this franchise. You've done a lot of good things. There is no way you've won one game in the last 15 months at home. I'm sorry, just this team was positioned to go to the playoffs. We're watching the shit Giants get to the playoffs this year with about a fraction of the talent that you have. You do not get to sit here on a 4-win season and say you can run it back. It's unacceptable. And it doesn't sound like the Cardinals are going to do that. There have been so many reports that have broke over the past 12 to 24 hours that really our post-game show, yes, we're going to break down the results of this game. We're going to talk draft, and we're going to talk about the likely fate of this franchise. But, Damien, you look at what's taking place, and how do the players think the mindset for them, like look at Trey McBride, for instance. He's battling his ass off. He looks like a player ascending, but this may be a one and done for his head coach. Put me in a player's position of what they could envision over the next 12 hours.
Well, all Trey McBride or any player on that football field, as Frank could attest to, all they're focusing on is controlling what I can. So if my responsibility is to block, I'm blocking my ass off. If my responsibility is to catch the football, I'm doing that. We see Corey Clement out there, David Blau trying to do his damnedest to make things happen. We saw, as Bo mentioned, AJ Green, being a grown man out there. We haven't seen that type of fight, in players, on an extended play, being double coverage and fighting off two defenders and finding his way to the end zone. So when you see players doing those things, at the end of the day, no matter what GMs across, PHNX or DNVR, you know what I mean, or the Arizona Cardinals, all you could control is what you could control. So guys are going out there and fighting. But what I'll say, Johnny, talking about a person's worst nightmare, you see Kliff putting in guys in positions to win offensively. And I know that that's not enough. I know that there's a lot of reports that there may be an internal hire and have two co-GMs. I know that we're going to talk about that a lot in post-game, Bo. But to me, it's just a lot of unknowns. So all you can as a player is focus on what you can do. And that's, trying to win every snap.
So we've got a question. Jordan P. asking, where did Gambo say that Kliff is likely out on a radio appearance late last week? I want to keep everybody locked into where the Arizona Cardinals stand right now, 2 quarters away in the NFL draft standings. We've got the updated draft standings. Houston, Lovie Smith giving the double bird on the way out the door to everybody saying he's going to get fired. He gets the dub with Davis Mills and company, Bo. Chicago now, our brothers and sisters at CHGO, they get the top pick.
They do.
Will the Arizona Cardinals join them in the top 3? Should the Cardinals lose, Bo, and they are 2 quarters away from that, we just saw Jerry Jeudy, Russell Wilson connect. They are now tied with the LA Chargers. Brandon Staley getting players hurt. You would assume people are going to start sitting. We have the path now to number 3. This rings true. If the Broncos beat the Chargers and the Niners win over the Cardinals, you're picking 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, even with Houston winning and dropping down and the Bears moving up, I mean, the Bears, they've got the quarterback.
Yep.
They could either trade out with a quarterback-hungry team, or the Bears could stick and pick and take the best non-quarterback available. That doesn't, at 3, that doesn't sync what the Arizona Cardinals want to do, because that puts them in a prime position. 2 has got to be a quarterback team, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be Houston, or if they trade out, or it could be, the Bears trading out. It could be back-to-back signal callers. So that would be the best case for the Arizona Cardinals.
I think Chicago getting that first pick now is great news for Arizona, because I think Houston is going to be forced to take a QB. They didn't take a QB last year. Remember, they told their fans, we're going to run it back with Davis Mills, and that's been a disaster. So they're going to have to talk themselves into C.J. Stroud or Will Levis. And now you look at Chicago, either taking Bryce Young or trading up with an Indianapolis to take Bryce Young. Frank, the Cardinals could be in a position, if they lose and the Broncos win, to have a choice between, God love it, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. It's a beautiful thing.
Why are you smiling?
Well, because I want good players on this team. They don't have enough
he
good
wants
players.
consolation prizes.
Let's go.
This season.
Johnny has moved on, guys. Johnny has moved.
I'm still quarters away from moving on.
We're on
the draft board up. We're on the draft board up.
Like this video if you like the 3rd overall pick. Hello.
Look, I agree, man. Look, this is there's 2 quarters to play. There's a lot of football left. The funny thing about it is teams are not quitting. Guys are fighting. You would think there were several conversations earlier that said the 49ers should have sat a lot of players, but apparently they got something to fight for.
Not for the number 1 seed.
I mean, they got potentially, but they got something to fight for, and they're playing the Cardinals. So you got to kind of like you sit some guys down. It's Cardinals, but they're fighting, and you got to appreciate Week 17 in the NFL because the guys are fighting. Everything you said is absolutely on point, Johnny. Yeah. All those things have come to pass. But the players on the football field don't give a god darn. They don't care about none of that shit. They're trying to fight. They're fighting for 32 other teams, or 31 other teams, and they're trying to put themselves in the best position. It's good to see, but at the end of the day, I'm still with you, because this victory doesn't make or break the Cardinals. We want great players. If it's me, I would like anybody from the SEC. And those are the 2 top picks.
But I would say 3 is definitely better than 4, because all your prospects could be gone at that position, and potentially, I know that we're going to get in that, possibly trade back and pick up more picks. But that 3 position, I think you're sitting prime because I don't think the Bears are going to get a quarterback, but they could move out of that position.
They could. Yeah, they could. And that probably would bode well for the Arizona Cardinals. Or if Chicago does that, do the Cardinals become that team, that quarterback-hungry teams pick up the phone and call potentially the reported co-GM duo that we could see between Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson? We'll see. We've got more conversations about that. But I want to see more as far as the first half and the second half, the status quo. Not winning, but seeing a hard-played football. See J.J. Watt eat a few more times. Give me J.J. Let's get a dozen sacks for J.J. Watt this season. Let's see some more Isaiah Simmons, number 9, out there. I saw. Did he got a Niner in there as far as who was making big plays? It was J.J. Watt. It was Isaiah Simmons. Give me more of that and an L. I'll take it. It'd be a nice way to go out.
You're preaching to the choir, my man. Let Russ cook. I'm going to tell you right now, PHNX Cardinals postgame show. Appointment YouTube television. Subscribe right now. Like this video. Ring your alarm on the old YouTube verse. We are going to be back immediately following the last 2 quarters of the Arizona Cardinals 2022 season. God willing. We got so much to talk about. Enjoy the last 2 quarters.
Broncos country.
Let's see you then.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.